I'm Charlotte, and until last week, I was a maid in the Grand House of Amalia. I've worked for them since I can remember. They were gracious enough to take me in when my life was supposed to be lived out on the streets. They hosted many parties. I was made to clean every inch of the home. I couldn't sleep or eat until it was done. Some days, I went without either. This was my life for 18 years. And then, yesterday, that life fell apart. My mistress had many sisters, and so many nephews and nieces. I had spent a week preparing the house and the guest rooms for the reunion. It happened every year, and it never got less tedious. The adults in the family never acknowledged me, but the children made it their mission to make my life miserable. It was the oldest of the children, Agatha, who created the problem. Mommy, look what I found Charlotte taking. Agatha pulled out a gold chain necklace, something my mistress had been gifted from her mother when she was dying. It was her most treasured possession, and I think it was this along that made my sister doubt the story Agatha gave. But she couldn't call her own blood a liar. Out! You must get out! After everything I have given you, after 18 years of food and board, this is how you repay me? Get out! Poor little thief. Enjoy someone else's charity for once. I had no choice. I was thrown out of the house, and suddenly, I was homeless. Living on the streets was hard, but the first week was the hardest. I had experienced hunger, but I always had faith that I would be given food, eventually. As my clothes turned dirty and my hair grew brittle, I experienced real fear for never being given food again. I slept in doorways and begged for scraps, and realized too late how good I had it. I might have been unloved, but at least I had a place to call home. Now, I have no love or home.
Hey kid, here's some bread.
Thank you, sir. I relied on the kindness of strangers, but I was still wary. I hid away. One night, I was sitting beneath the window of a tavern when I overheard the news.
I heard the prince almost got himself assassinated. They've hidden him away, but no one knows why someone wanted him dead.
I was surprised to hear this. The prince was supposed to be kind, generous. I couldn't imagine anyone wanting to hurt him. But then, people make strange decisions that don't often make sense. Of course, it's no real concern of mine. He's a prince, and I am nothing.
Young lady, are you all right?
I was startled by the voice. I looked up and saw a young man hanging out of the window and staring down at me. He was handsome, with a strong jaw and dazzling blue eyes. I felt a flush of shame spread over my cheeks when I realized that I looked like a walking rag doll. I'm fine, thank you.
I'm quite bored up here. I have no one to talk to. Would you mind Terrible coming to keep me company?
I knew who he was. I'd seen the posters leading up to the dances and balls. It was the prince. And he was asking me to join him to keep him company. I don't think I should.
Oh, please. I'm going out of my mind here. I have some cards. We could play a game. And, hey, there's food.
I was ashamed that I was so easily bought, but I was hungry, and there was no reason to decline his offer. Okay, fine. I wasn't allowed to go inside the pub, but I climbed on the window ledge, and the prince pulled me inside the room. At his order, one of the guards outside sent for a maid to fill a bath and fetch a clean dress for me, while the other ordered food. Clean and full for the first time in a week, I found myself smiling.
There's something awfully familiar about you. Do I know you? Or your parents?
I took a drink of mead and settled into the chair with the blanket he had given me. I felt so relaxed that I wasn't scared of answering his questions. We've never met, but I don't know if you've met my parents. I don't think even I've met my parents. The lady who kept me, my mistress, told me my mother gave birth and then left me at the orphanage. Anyone could be my mother. This was something that I'd worked hard to put out of my mind. I was sad that I didn't have parents, of course, but if I let it rule my life, I'd never be able to move forwards. Besides, my mistress forbade questions and had no heart for sympathy.
You know, you look an awful lot like my mother at your age, which is curious. Did you know that on the day my mother was assassinated, she was set to give birth? And that the child disappeared?
Of course, everyone knows that story.
I think you might be the missing princess.
At first I laughed, but then I realized he was serious. He called for the guard again, and they brought the king, who brought a doctor.
You are the lost princess. But I don't understand. Where have you been all these years?
I explained where I had been living, and they sent guards to the manor. Within an evening, the story was out. It turns out my mistress found me on the side of the road, and even after hearing of the news of the missing baby, chose not to give me over. She'd planned to use me as leverage, but as time wore on, the country grew tired of the story of the missing princess, and she found better uses for me instead. She was arrested, of course, and the family name lost its power. I was moved into the palace, and I finally found a family.